The ocean is a big, strange place. But if you ever swam in it, you'll probably only see some idiot fish and naked tourists. And if you look down, you see nothing. But what if that's just because it's dark? Around 95% of the ocean is still undiscovered. So what if it's actually something within that darkness, deep in the depth? I'm a digital artist, and today I'm going to show you how I designed and rendered my worst ocean nightmare. So I began the process by going on Google and looked for some reference images. And oh my god, there are some nasty animals out there. So I took some of them and put them in Photoshop. I didn't use them too much, but they were a good reminder that God left us long ago. I started to explore ideas by sketching. For some reason, I've set my mind to thin tentacles and layered teeth. I don't know why, so please don't ask. I added some color and this poor guy, my dude. I gave him some green light because I thought it would look cool against the blue water. It didn't. And that's basically the sketch. So at this point I had to take a break because I've been looking too much at disgusting images. But after that I was ready to move on to 3D. I opened up Blender and deleted the default cube. And then I added a cube. And then I rotated around in the viewport for a solid 5 minutes because I'm a brainless chimp. Finally my human brain kicked in again and I started working. I made a hole in the cube and added a subdivision modifier. Basically it was not smooth and now it is smooth. I kept shaping the body and played around a little bit with the mouth. Alright, time to give this bad boy some teeth. I modeled one and then just duplicated those beside each other. I put those in the mouth and then I duplicated those. After a while I had a full layer of teeth, which is unacceptable, so I added one more. I also modeled a tongue and then I added 2 more. Because I need 3. I just do, okay? It was time for the tentacles, so I took a cylinder and I made it very long and bendy. I duplicated it, changed the size and rotation, so I get some variation. Hey, I did something similar with the eyes, but this time I drew them on. Yeah, that's horrifying. In this next part, I tried to add some weird shapes to his head, but I didn't really like them. Luckily, you don't really see them in the end, so it's fine. Now we actually come to my favorite part of this project, which is to create the environment. There is gonna be a lot of stuff in this scene, but we have to make it look like they're underwater. So how do we do that? So most water isn't really that clear, so we simulate that in this scene using fog. Creating the fog was by far the hardest thing in this project. It took me 1 hour and 2 mental breakdowns. At this point the fog wasn't great, but I had to take a break from it. I moved on with my life and I tried to change some colors of the creature. My goal was to paint this so it looked all gooey and squishy and disgusting, but I never got to that. Instead I decided to work with the light that the diver was gonna hold in his hand. And that looked pretty cool, but I wasn't too sure about the colors. So I took a screenshot both with colors and without colors, and I ended up choosing the one without. It looked so much better against the blue water. Now it's a pretty good time to reflect on what we have done so far, and maybe also what we should do next. And maybe you can also think about what you're gonna do next. So I was looking at some images of whales, and I realized that the light behaved very strangely. So when the light from the sun hits the surface of the water, it refracts in the waves. This will create a wavy pattern of light on the whale. It looks pretty cool and I want to have it in my shot. So here's how I did it in 3D. I took a plane and I made a bunch of holes in it with something called procedural textures. And then I basically just let the light from the scene shoot through that plane. And voila! This also created some cool stripes in the water. So now it's time to work on a guy. I'm not gonna work myself if I don't have to, so I jumped on Google to see if I can find a diver model, but nothing. So I found a model of a simple man instead. I downloaded him and took him into Blender. I tried to just remodel him so he was in the right position, but that didn't work out. I decided to rig him with bones so I can position him easier. The position only has to look good for the camera angle. Now the position looks good, but he doesn't stick out of the background enough. So I removed all the shininess from his body so he became almost pitch black. And that looked good, except he was way too... I went into edit mode and made him extra oof, and that looked good. He still looked pretty naked though, so I added a flashlight, some fins, a scuba diving tank, and some goggles. And in render mode it looked like this. That's it for 3D, it's time to render. No. But before we do that, please consider subscribing. I'm new to YouTube and it helps out a lot. I mean, you're still here, come on, just hit the button, come on. Here I basically just add some dust and then I paint out what I don't want. I also make the dust that is getting hit by the light brighter, so it matches the rest of the scene. Then I go into Photoshop's camera raw filter and do some basic adjustments to the color and light. Finally, I just add my logo, and we're done. Okay, it's time for the big reveal. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. For real though, thank you so much for watching. I had a blast making this, but it took a long time, like 20-25 hours or something. So if you want to subscribe and like, I highly appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. Okay, I think that's it. Bye.